Honorable Congressman, while Pakistan has been defined as a state moving from crisis to crisis since its inception, Islamabad massacre of November 2024, in which hundreds of people were shot, literally at the gates of its parliament and Supreme Court, and bodies made to disappear, like the Banana Massacre in Colombia of 1928, was unprecedented, even in Pakistan's troubled history. This represents a clear and present danger for U.S. interests in South and Central Asia, and the growing instability, Congressman, is increasing immigration pressures towards Europe via Mediterranean. Asylum applications are also piling up with the U.S. law files from Pakistan. Honorable Congressman and fellow gentlemen, but we have not reached this dangerous situation overnight. Pakistan, a nation of almost 250 million, fifth largest in the world after India, China, United States and Indonesia, second largest Muslim nation, and the only Muslim country with nuclear weapons, with almost 1 million trained men in uniform in arms, is increasingly on boil since a military-led regime change operation in April 2022 against the government of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Since then, country with more than 65% under the age of 35, facing an economic meltdown, water, food and energy shortages, is being run by a military with growing brutality and in total disregard of United Nations and international human rights conventions. Since April 2022, while courts have been made to collapse, more than 20,000 men and women have been arrested, hundreds have been tortured, journalists, lawyers, human rights activists, and poets have been abducted, forced to go underground or seek protection in Western democracies like myself. I left when a dear colleague, an outspoken critic of the military, Arshad Sharif, was chased and murdered in Kenya on 23rd October 2022. 10 days later, an assassin almost murdered Imran Khan, the former prime minister and country's most popular leader. But both criminal acts, Congressman, to this day have not been properly investigated. Biden administration, for reasons not understood, completely ignored the crisis developing in Pakistan. Attention was repeatedly drawn by Pakistani American community to brutal suppression of opposition, gross human rights violation, silencing of media, muzzling of popes, and internet shutdowns. But Biden administration kept on dodging the questions and thus tacitly encouraged the Pakistani military to continue with his reign of terror. Congressman, in November 2023, I will remind you, Representatives Greg Tassar and Ilhan Omar wrote to Secretary Blinken to review if United States security assistance is contributing to human rights violations. And on 28 February 2024, after elections were massively rigged in Pakistan by the military, 31 congressmen led by Representatives Greg Tassar and Susan Wild wrote to Secretary Blinken to withhold recognition of an apparently illegitimate government till a transparent and credible investigation is conducted into alleged election interference and irregularities. In June 2024, in an unprecedented move, United States Congress and House Resolution 901 affirmed its support for democracy and demanded investigation into election irregularities and interference by the military. And in October 2024, 4 weeks before the Islamabad massacre, Representatives Greg Tassar, Jim McGovern, yourself, and Congresswoman Summer Lee again led 61 congressmen asking Biden administration to emphasize human rights and rule of law in its policy towards Pakistan, and demanded release of all political prisoners, including the former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Congressmen all unfortunately fell on deaf ears. Washington ignored the growing crisis, including increasing reports of transnational repression piling up with Federal Bureau of Investigation. These are hundreds of instances of intimidation and violence against relatives, families, and associates of Pakistani Americans in Pakistan by the military regime for the views expressed within the US, for reaching out to the congressmen, and for the comments on Twitter, which is, by the way, blocked in Pakistan since 17 February 2024. Congressman, Islamabad massacre was thus the culmination of growing public outrage and helplessness against rigged elections, destruction of the court system, and silence of the international community led by Washington. It was in these circumstances that more than 100,000 protesters marched into capital Islamabad to demand release of political prisoners, restoration of the Supreme Court, and respect for the stolen mandate in February election. Instead of negotiating with peaceful, unarmed protesters, a military operation was conducted in the middle of the night. No one knows how many were really killed, as dead bodies were made to disappear, just like the Banana Massacre of 1928 in Colombia. I hope Ryan Grimm of DropSpsych, who I see here, who did an investigative story, will provide more details about this massacre. Congressman, in my humble opinion, unless the US Congress impresses upon the incoming Trump administration to develop a focus on Pakistan through special envoys and demand person-specific sanctions against the officers of the military regime and police responsible for the massacre, human rights violations, instability and chaos will continue to grow in Pakistan, increasing risk for its neighbors and the United States' interest in the region. Thank you.